What's good, family? Smash the like button and subscribe. Wow, this is a madness. Your man the YB today has to report a mad update in the Anthony Joshua training situation. Now again, just in case any of you man don't know or haven't been following the story, you man know the YB has been extremely critical of AJ's current training team. Yeah, I think they're moist and I think they're unqualified. They don't know how to train a full, well-rounded. Tell I, end of the day, they don't know how to get the best out of AJ. AJ is a fighting machine. That doesn't mean you be dancing around the place with Pulev. That's what it's not, yeah? He's a fighting machine. Train the right way. I'll say it again, none of these heavyweights, not one, should be going more than 6 rounds. Yeah? AJ under the right trainer. In my opinion, AJ's team should take it personally if any fight goes more than 6 rounds. There needs to be an inquest. Do you understand that? There needs to be a national inquest as to why anyone is going 6 rounds or more with AJ. Simple as that. Seriously. Boris Johnson needs to put on an inquest 100%. Yeah? Needs to commission an inquest into what's going on. Because there ain't no one in this heavyweight division is soft. Yeah? Super soft is this heavyweight division. And end of the day, I don't want to hear no more about it. How about that? But anyway, that's the bottom line here. AJ's team is half. Yeah? Too half. And the job ain't being done properly. Because we're not seeing the skills improving. We're not seeing them high level skills improving. I'm seeing him disengaging and dancing around and nipping points here and there. I'm not seeing those high level skills though, unfortunately. And it's been that way for many years now. Anyway, 2-2s. I've been critical of AJ's team, and throughout the period, there's one solution to this problem. And I've said it many times before. Shane McGuigan. Shane McGuigan has proven, even though he's only 30-year-old or whatever, he's proven categorically he can take fighters and turn them around and show them things they didn't even know was possible with themselves. Lawrence Okolie himself has said, when I got with Shane, well, since I've got with Shane, things have just 180'd. And look at his performances. Lawrence Okolie he weren't doing no one like that, really. And next thing you know, he's smoking world level opponents. Lawrence Okolie was going 50-50 with a whole bunch of dudes. Just well boring. And now, he's the real Deontay Wilder. Lawrence Okolie is the real Deontay Wilder. Yeah, that's the truth of it. I promise you. Lawrence Okolie is going to smoke for all the division. And then he's going to drag Usyk down there and he's going to knock... I'll take this for free. And all of you goofy Usyk fans, yeah? Lawrence Okolie will knock Usyk out 100%. I promise you, I would actually bet on that. I'd bet Lawrence Okolie will ice Alexander Usyk. Smoke his boots for him. Why? Because Usyk is 180 pounds soaking wet. Okolie, too much power. Usyk don't knock no one out. How about that? Okolie hit you once, you're gone. Usyk, he can hit you 20 times and you're not gone. Yeah? No doubt. But anyway, let's get to the topic of this video. Bottom line is, as you've seen on your screen, your man the YB, can't even lie to you, man. More or less, we can now confirm that your man's AJ is 100% locked in to the YB's channel. It's a fact now. Don't care what no one says. This is absolute fact. Because what do we see? This right here, your man the YB hacked into AJ's communications and was able to intercept one of his phone calls with Lawrence Okolie. And end of the day, like you see on your screen now, AJ posted up the following: talking tactics with my broski, Lawrence Okolie. Now, YB, why have you just spent a whole bag of time talking about AJ's team and whatever else? What has that got to do with this? Well, like I told you, Shane McGuigan is the answer to AJ's career. Yeah? Shane McGuigan is the cat who will take AJ from where he is to the top 3 ticket in the Hall of Fame of boxing. All time. That's what he will do. Now, we know Shane McGuigan trains Lawrence Okolie. So my whole thing is, why would AJ be asking Lawrence Okolie about tactics? Oops. Whose idea was that? Oops. Who else been saying it? Apart from the YB, who else been saying it? We need to know. What we need to know right now is, apart from the YB, who has been saying Shane McGuigan is the man? Oh, right. It was the YB, that's who it was. Yeah? And now all of a sudden, your man's AJ is asking his underling for tactics. AJ, just admit you was wrong. Admit McCrappen no good and move to Shane. They'll be asking, AJ try and do one of them sly ones. Oh, yeah. It's no good trying to do the sly ones. Just accept you was wrong. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it takes a man to take responsibility. It takes a man to accept there's a better way of doing things. Trying to be all, let's see if I can get a few tips. That's just the cheap way of doing things. That's I'm trying to cut corners. Oh well, I don't really want to admit the YB was right and fully commit to Shane, but maybe if I can nick a few tips from Okolie. Come on, man, get serious. You know what I'm saying? Trying to nick a few Shane McGuigan tips. Trying to get it through freebies. Listen, put Shane on the payroll the same way you put that goofy Fernando Alonso. Yeah, you had no problem going to find goofy what's his name? Chamberlain. You had no problem finding Isaac Chamberlain's, God knows where you got him from. You went, no, whatever lie. AJ, after the Ruiz loss, he hired Fernando Alonso and some Isaac Chamberlain trainer. Never heard of neither of them. Neither of them have any record of doing anything. Which, to be fair, is a bit of a theme within AJ's camp. AJ loves employing people who have no record of anything. Rob McCrappen has no record of anything. Show me a fighter Rob McCrappen has taken, and you can say, wow, man. Wow, look what Rob did with him. Wow, look what Fernando Alonso did with him. Wow, look what Isaac Chamberlain's trainer did with him. There ain't none. AJ's not being funny. AJ's, in my opinion, has the best potential in the boxing world today. But he's got trainers who are absolute novices in the game. They've got no track record. Meanwhile, Shane is half their age and he's got a whole long list. Shane McGuigan shown he can take old fighters and make them new. George Groves. He can take new fighters, Okolie, and make them new. That there is an extremely high level set of skills Shane McGuigan has. And when you team them up together, and it's not only just that, to be fair, it's how Shane McGuigan goes about it. Shane McGuigan has a taste for high performance. It's not acceptable for Shane McGuigan just to get a win, like Ben Davidson, or like Rob McCrappen. It's not acceptable. He could have easily said to Lawrence Okolie, Lawrence, it's our first world title fight. Let's just get the W. Let's not worry about what we do. Let's just survive. AKA Rob McCrappen. AKA Ben Davidson. That wasn't good enough. Shane McGuigan told him, 7th round, he's ready to go. But he didn't just say 7th round. Throughout the fight, he tempered Okolie and said to him, no, not yet, not yet, not yet. Now he's ready. And then what happens? Boom. He goes sleep. That there is... Shane McGuigan is tapped in with the boxing spirits, 100%. Your man, the YB's confirmed it. Yeah? Shane McGuigan appreciates the sport. It's not enough for him just to, well, let's just try and nick belts and let's just try and survive and let's just be happy we got the W. Who does that? Well, tell a lie. I know who does that. That's the new way of doing things in 2021. It's all about just getting a win however you can get it. It's not about getting the best out of yourself. If you believe you're the best, you should be performing the best performances. And I've said it before. 10 rounds with Pulev is not the best AJ. Because any fighter go more than 6 rounds, we've got a problem. Because none of these guys are good enough. I'm sorry, it's the truth. This isn't 1990 where you got, wow, there's a whole bunch of real solid, tough dudes. The heavyweight division is soft. Yeah? Super soft. That's the truth of it. I genuinely believe people like Mitch Green in today would be top 5. I just do, I'm sorry. Stick Mitch Green in the heavyweight division today, he's top 5. Mitch Green would maul Pulev. Maul him. And Povetkin. They get mauled. They wouldn't know what to do. Too gritty. We don't have none of them fighters today. Them fighters, who was kind of standard dudes. Them man from the 90s are top 5 today. Because we don't have none of them gritty dudes. Not being funny, Dillian White's number 3, people say. He get touched by Povetkin and goes spark out. I'm not being horrible, but it's the truth. Yeah? Mitch Green went 12 rounds of Mike Tyson. The most prime Mike Tyson at that. Dillian can't even hold a shot from 50-year-old Povetkin, for example. I'm not knocking it, I'm just telling you, trying to contrast the levels in boxing today versus 30 years ago. Yeah? It's a fact. And on that basis, when you're fighting a whole load of dudes who are soft, that comes with a level of responsibility. It's AJ's responsibility to show how soft the division is. Going 10 rounds and taking all day against Pulev, that ain't it. And what makes it worse is, I wouldn't even mind if we could sit here and say, well, Whiteby, it's not Rob McCrappen's fault, because he was trying to get AJ to do something. That's what he wants AJ to do. He wants AJ to not throw no shots. Take your time, yeah. That's what he was saying in the corner, no joke. I've never once seen Rob McCrappen say, yeah, he's ready to go. Yeah, put the pressure on him. I've never seen Rob McCrappen say, like Manny Stewart did. Manny Stewart went crazy at Klitschko. And I think crazy at Lewis as well. Because these trainers, they appreciate, number one, the sport, but they also appreciate the athletes they're working with, and they know when they're working with a certain type of athlete, and that certain type of athlete is going in with a certain type of opponent, they have expectations. Manny Stewart had expectations. You are better, you are so much better than your opponent today, it's not acceptable to be going a distance. Get this guy out of there, right now. I've never once seen that from Rob McCrappen. He's happy to keep his head down and just keep the checks rolling in, which is good for him, but ain't good for no one else. It's not good for AJ's legacy. It's not good for the fans, and it's a massive waste of potential because fighters like AJ come around once every 50 years, and I can already see what's coming after AJ. It's going to be truly peak for boxing. So we have to get the most of it whilst it's here. It's no good. Oh, well, let's just be happy, Ben Davison style. Let's just be happy with nicking wins here and there. And the worst thing is that attitude gets you whooped anyway. Because I'm not being funny. Watch AJ versus Ruiz 1. AJ came out and you can just tell he's super scary. He's got that defensive mode. That, let me just try and protect my belts. Rather than coming out and getting on it. Yeah, AJ should have hopped on the back of Ruiz and rolled his legs off from the start. But instead he comes out and he's all, I gotta protect my belts and let me just try and get the win. That attitude never works. You get smoked. You end up getting smoked with that kind of attitude. That defensive first attitude. Every fight you should approach like you're the challenger. Because when AJ was in there against even Charles Martin, but even Vlad, AJ went in there against Vlad almost with a challenger mentality in the last half of the fight. The first half he was trying to overthink things. That second half he got to work and it paid off. And obviously that was discounting all of the skills he should have been learning since then. You're meant to improve over time. The higher level skills are meant to be worked on over time. Meant to. Because ever since Tony Sims left, wow, it's been bad. Ever since Tony Sims left, it's been bad. But anyway, you've seen the picture there, AJ reaching out to Lawrence Okolie for tips. Now, I actually looked it up because I thought, wait a minute, maybe I've got it wrong. Maybe Lawrence Okolie is asking for tips, but then I realised. Well, not realised, then I searched. Lawrence Okolie hasn't got a fight booked. So it doesn't make sense that Lawrence Okoli will be talking tactics with anyone because he ain't got a fight. So this is definitely 100%. And it's AJ. And it's from AJ's screen as well. So AJ's posted this saying, I'm talking tactics with my broski, Lawrence Okoli. So AJ is essentially talking tactics about his upcoming fight with Usyk, with Okoli. Now I'm sorry, I can't make out, I'm not one for inferences, but if this isn't an inference, why would AJ, having all the experience he does, more so than a first-time world champion Okoli, why would AJ suddenly be looking for tactics with Okoli? He can sense something already. The crazy thing is, I even done a video when Okoli smoked Glowacki, yeah? I did a video saying that I was wondering whether AJ was a bit, I guess you could call it envious, on a professional level, because we all know, professionally, if someone within your profession, even if they're your friend, if they perform really well, it can feel a bit like they're undermining yourself. Or you can just feel envious, bottom line. You could think, wow, I want to perform like that. And I hate to break it to you, man, but 2-2, this certainly just back up that narrative that potentially AJ watched that Okoli performance and thought, you know what, I wouldn't mind having a piece of that. I wouldn't mind being able to sling my right hand in a given round and just end the fight there and then. I miss them days when I was, you know what I'm saying? I miss them days when I was getting on it like that. And Okoli's already come out and said, before he got with Shane McGuigan, his head was all over the place. Shane McGuigan, again, go back and watch Okoli's interviews, not my words. Okoli breaks it all down. Shane McGuigan enabled him to transcend his former self, shed that skin. No doubt. So what AJ needs to do now is, AJ, cut off all the dead wood, get rid of Fernando Alonso, get rid of all these unknown bum dudes, or, because you've got loads of money anyway, if you feel guilty, keep them on the payroll, but just let it be that. Let them dudes just hang around and bring Shane in. Because when you got, the great thing is, with great trainers, you don't need all the extras. It's mad. AJ's got McCrappen, Fernando Alonso, some other dude. He's got about 20 dudes. Who does that? When Mike Tyson was with Cus D'Amato, guess what? It was Cus D'Amato. There weren't 20 dudes in there. You don't need a whole bag of man. When you've got a proper trainer, when you've got a Hall of Fame trainer, that's all you need. All this having a whole bag of man who ain't doing nothing. It's almost like it's almost like you're thinking, well, I could have one 10 out of 10 trainer, but instead I'm going to have 5 2 out of 10 trainers. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. Having 5 subpar trainers just means you've got a subpar training team. You can't add them up together, which is how you'd need it to be. I'm telling you now, your top 3 or your 3 trainers right now don't add up to half of Shane McGuigan, and that's the fact. I hate to break it to you. It's an absolute fact. The evidence speaks for itself. No doubt. So put the ego to the side. Accept that your team's dead, and go and holler up Shane and say, listen, Shane, let's get working. Because I'm sure, given where you are in the sport, Shane ain't going to turn that down. He'd be a fool to. And I just hate, honestly, I'd be so happy. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If it turns out, yeah, that AJ gets worse, I'll say, you know what? I'll probably, to be honest, yeah, if I was wrong on this, I'll probably quit. Because that will prove I ain't got a clue what I'm talking about. But I'm telling you now, it'll be one of the best days in the sport if AJ makes his jump and goes and works with Shane McGuigan, because I'm telling you, it'll be just imagine, you see how Josh Taylor was fighting? Imagine AJ tearing it up like that. It'll be a madness. It'll be a true madness.